We interrupt this regularly scheduled program to bring you Gardening with Granny. Today, Granny is going to teach us how to grow oranges in a pot. What the heck? Get this woman off my video! Hello and good Sunday afternoon to you. Welcome back to day 3 of my kitchen pantry renovation. Since I've been with you last, I've made a bunch of headway. So let me show you what I've done, kind of how I got there, and what we have left to do. Okay, hold on. I have finished the assembly of the drawers. Now, there are a couple things that when you do these things, you learn as you go. If you're not a professional, you'll figure some things out, maybe the hard way. So, number one, I got all these put together. They went together smoothly. They look nice. They're sturdy. The only problem, the only thing that I wish that I had done differently, and I don't want to tear them apart and redo them now, is that I should have cut this face to be longer than this so that I could cover up the slide, the drawer slide. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute when we go inside. Yes, I do have drawer slides on my cabinet drawers. So, as you can see, got one on both sides. I did splurge and get the nice ones that kind of latch themselves in and then will actually close themselves. So it's turned out really nice. They're a little stiffer than I like though. But, you know, hopefully over time they'll loosen up and they'll be good. So, let's go inside and I'll show you what I've done. Ta-da! Check that out. We have shelves in there. We have drawers in. It is starting to come together. Side note, I would have happily walked in here and let you see my kitchen, except it is a disaster right now because I have all of this stuff scattered all over the kitchen. So, let's not do that. So basically what I've done, and when you start one of these projects, you need to have a plan, but you also need to know when the plan falls apart and when you need to throw it away. So let's go down here. Let's start at the bottom first. Okay, so if you remember, I told you that my plan was to have a basket hanging down here, by drawer slides. So what happened with that plan, as my wife and I looked at this, we assessed what we wanted to do here. I had these originally drawn out as 20-inch drawers. We decided to drop them to 18 so that we would have a little more shelf space on the sides and it wasn't quite so tight. So in doing that, I couldn't remember what the basket size was that I had measured at my local store, and it turns out that it's exactly 18 inches. So I grabbed the basket for you just so you could see. And so as you can see, this is not going to fit up under there and hang the way I wanted it to, unless I come up with a, some sort of ingenious way to do it, or if I turn it this way, which may or may not work out too well. It doesn't really look right. It doesn't fit flush with the cabinet. I'm not sure I like that, but maybe we'll figure something out. Drawer slides. Again, if you've never done these, the trick is make sure that, like, when you get one side set the way you want it, make sure the other side measures out the same way. My very first slide that I put in was this one down here. I used a level, which I thought would work out okay for me. Turns out the back of, I don't remember which side it was, but one of these sides was 1/4 of an inch up from the other one. And so when I shoved the door in, it was binding. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I thought I had spacing issues here or here, and I tried a whole bunch of stuff, and then I eventually took the drawer out, remeasured, and realized what I had done. So just make sure that they're both going the same direction at the same pace. And here's what I was talking about outside, okay? Here's where I wish that I had made the face of these a little bit longer. I'm so ready to be done with this. I'm not going to tear them apart now. What I might do is get a piece of molding, or I might cut some of this and make a rounded piece just to attach to the end of it, just to cover it. I just don't want to tear my drawers apart. If you remember, I put glue in the seams here, and it will probably mess the bottom of my drawers up. So I went ahead and I have these two shelves in. These two shelves I screwed in because I want them hard and fast, and I want it to stabilize these pieces here. Without these pieces in here, these pieces were flopping a little bit, and my drawers, which they have a little bit of, you have to pull a little bit to get them open, but then once you shut them, get them past a certain point, and they close. It's just beautiful. So I'm going to get the other drawer in. My next task is to measure out and drill pins for all of these shelves. Get those shelves painted and hung, and then I'm going to go over it with some painter's caulk, fill in all of my cracks. I did a boo-boo up there, and I'm going to fill that in with some wood filler and do a final coat of paint, and we'll be well on our way to wrapping this up. So hopefully when I come back, I'll have a little bit more progress and show you what we've done. All right, you want to get crazy? Let's drill and pin some holes for the shelves. So let me find my trusty little pin and show you what we're dealing with. So I got these nice little pins from my local home improvement store. And what we're going to do is drill holes for the metal end to sit in, because the shelf will actually sit on that little plastic ledge right there. So what I'm going to do, I already know where I want my shelves. So I have marked, hold on. There you go. So hopefully you can see that. I've marked the bottom of where I want the shelf. I've gone in 3 inches, put me a mark, and since the pin center is 3/16 of an inch below the top, I have a 3/16 inch hole there. Now, in order to drill these holes straight and not go too deep, I have made myself a jig. Simple, bunch of scrap poplar that I used my trusty little angle square and put it up against my bit and held it as square as I could because I don't have a drill press. So that hole is pretty close to as square as you'll get without buying a professional jig. But the important part of this is that you don't want your bit to go too deep. So in these vertical pieces here, I don't want to go all the way through them. I only want to have enough penetration to seat that pin in that hole. So that's what I've done. So it'll be hard for me to do this and show you what I'm doing. So let me get a couple of these drilled because what I want to focus on is I want to focus on the last pin because I want to show you a little trick, keep you from regretting it later. Okay, back in a sec. All right, so I promised I would show you a little trick that I've learned over the years of doing this. So I measured and set pin number 1. From there, I used my level, because I want a level shelf, to project out to pin number 2. So I drilled it, and then once I set pin number 2, I take my shelf, set it in there, leveled the shelf horizontally this way, and then I struck a line from the bottom of the shelf and used that as my measuring point to get the pins on this side. So obviously you want your shelf level and you don't want it to rock, so it's very, very important that when you're drilling the last hole that you do it carefully so that you don't have a rocking situation on your shelf that annoys you later. So that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about with the shelf deal. Gonna go pin some more shelves. Back in a while. Welcome back. It is now officially day 4 of my pantry project. However, I worked late into the night last night to get this thing finished, so all that I had to do this morning was put the shelves on the pins, clean some stuff up, and reveal it to you. So, are you ready? Let's take a look at what I've done. All right, here we go. Voila. The finished product. Let me step back a little bit so that you can see this and get a good view of it. There is my finished kitchen pantry. Now, I mentioned that I wanted that hanging and on a slide, but since I changed the dimensions of my shelf or my drawers in the center, the basket no longer fits. So I've still got to come up with some sort of little engineering feat for that. I'm still going to work on that. It's still part of the plan, but we are done. The shelves are on the pins. I got finished paint in there. Everything looks nice and pretty. And my wife is a happy camper because she can put food back in our pantry and not have it on our kitchen counters. So, hope you've enjoyed walking through this with me. These kinds of projects are always crazy. No wall in a house is ever square, so you're going to cut and trim and cut some more, and it's just going to be a nightmare. And if you don't have patience, you'll get burnt out really fast. You just got to have patience working with these kind of projects. So it's done. I'm happy. I can't wait to get stuff back in them. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do this. Maybe it inspired you to do something around your house. And maybe it saved you some time. So that was really my goal in doing this. And it was not really for bragging rights. It was to see if I could help someone else do a similar project. So enjoy, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.